Welcome to the third episode of Boulder Community Health's Be Well Saturdays. I'm Gina Simmering, your host, and today we're going to hear about our community and COVID, discover Boulder's best self-guided walks, learn how to procure healthy food during this unpredictable time, and get tips on de-escalating our intense emotions. And be sure to stay with us for the opportunity to win a gift basket from the Museum of Boulder, which includes a dual membership. So stay tuned. Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Amie Meditz. Welcome to our home. I'm an infectious disease physician at Boulder Community Health. Many people have asked me over the years, what does an infectious disease doctor do? It's a popular cocktail party question. And we take care of people with all kinds of infectious diseases. And recently, we've been taking care of people with COVID-19. We also play an important role for the hospital as well. We work with a lot of different people at the hospital, as well as the health department, to ensure the safety of our patients and staff by helping hospitals to develop, our hospital specifically, to develop protocols and treatment plans based on evolving data that helps us respond to the pandemic. I want to admit something here. Even with all of my training, I had not recognized the likelihood of a pandemic and the importance of preparedness as a country and locally. It's a really positive effect that this pandemic has had is that we are way more prepared now. The preparedness of our hospital has increased immensely. More safety measures, plans to increase the size of our hospital or the number of beds there, not the size, but the number of beds, the number of ventilators. So things have greatly improved, and this was the result of a lot of teamwork at our hospital. And really, I honestly feel that our hospital has never been safer. A lot of our employees come up to me and they say to me, I mean, other than being home, I feel like I'm safer here than anywhere else. And you know, that really is so important to us. The other question that I'm often asked by patients and friends is, what can I do to stay safe and well? I'm not here to tell you something that you probably already haven't heard. I'm here to act as a coach, to stress the importance of continuing to do these things. These measures include wearing a mask, maintaining 6 feet of distance from others, and only go to small groups that are able to be distanced in the outdoors, and hand hygiene and avoiding touching your face. Those 3 pillars are the most important things that we're doing. I want to talk a little bit more about masks. Here's another truth. If you asked me a year ago whether the transmission of a respiratory virus by an entire community wearing a mask would prevent this transmission, I probably would have stuttered something non-committal, honestly. But what we've recognized with this pandemic through scientific data that an entire community wearing a mask prevents transmission of a respiratory virus. And why is this? This virus is spread by droplets. These droplets are right now being emitted from my mouth. They're emitted with talking, breathing, coughing, sneezing, and wearing a mask basically prevents the escape of these droplets and prevents infection from spreading from you. Since masks are the most visible component of our global prevention plan, it's been remarkable to me how our community has stepped up and taken personal responsibility and worn masks. This, we believe at Boulder Community, has greatly mitigated our local outbreak, and we are so grateful to our community. But we cannot stop now. We cannot stop now. Wearing a mask is not enough. We have to keep distancing ourselves from each other to avoid close contact of groups. Luckily, we live in an area where there is plenty of space and outside distance, where you can be distanced. I want to explain continued physical distancing of an entire population and why that is necessary. This is a new infection for our bodies, and we have no immunity. This infection is transmitted not only in people who have symptoms, but people who don't have symptoms or maybe just about to get symptoms. And the virus is highly contagious. It's had a significant death toll in the United States and worldwide. So we have to remain separated. Distancing ourselves has become increasingly difficult for everyone with time. It's hard not to be able to do the activities we enjoy with friends and family. In fact, the ID team at Boulder Community recommends indoor dining and indoor gyms to not be that safe. It's in our nature to socialize, and some of our feelings of frustration, sadness, loneliness are expected. I've had lots of patients tell me this, and so I deem it common. I myself feel this way sometimes. I've not been able to see my parents since the beginning of this year, and I typically see them every 3 months. It's been really hard, and other people have had much greater hardships. It's important to reach out to your primary care or other resources if feelings of hopelessness become uncontrollable. How do I combat these feelings? Well, I wear fun masks, which I consider the new accessory. One of my masks says howdy on it. I keep in touch via FaceTime and phone. And as you can see, I like to dress up or wear a fun hat. I love to be outdoors, distance, of course. And I really like to be kind to people on the trails. Many people are sometimes surprised. No matter who they are or what they're doing, I'm kind. I want to be kind. Although we haven't been overwhelmed at Boulder Community to date, we're not out of the woods, and I don't know when we're going to be. I would recommend to everyone that when you're in public, think of yourself as possibly infected with COVID-19, even if you feel fine. It's important to continue the measures of masking, distancing, and hand hygiene to limit community spread and resultant unnecessary deaths. I really appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you for your attention.
Hi, I'm Darcy Kitching, the Boulder Program Director for the Walk2Connect Cooperative. We're based in Denver, but I live here in Boulder, and for the past 5 years, I've been working with the City of Boulder's Go Boulder program, developing fun, interesting, educational, and useful everyday walks for the Boulder Walks program. And normally this time of year, we'd be out walking with big groups of people, doing lots of fun adventures around the city. But of course, this year we need everyone to keep themselves safe and not be going out in big groups, maybe one-on-one or just by yourself. So we put together just for you a freely accessible mini guidebook of interesting neighborhood-based walks all around the city. And these are easy to find. You just go to our website, boulderwalks.org. On boulderwalks.org, you'll see the page that says Celebrate Walking, Choose Your Own Adventure. You can choose from any of 11 routes. 7 of these were submitted by members of our city's Pedestrian Action Committee, and they really showcase those beautiful parts of their neighborhoods that they want to show off and that they want everyone to be able to explore. If you go down to the middle of that page, that website, you'll see a map photo. And if you click on that, it'll take you to the city's GIS system where you'll be able to navigate this map and actually click on the colorful routes that you see. So if you go into that map, click on any one of those routes and a little box will pop up and you'll be able to download a PDF of turn-by-turn directions and also an interactive map, which you can use straight online with your phone when you're out walking, or you can download those maps onto your Action Watch or Garmin or your iWatch or whatever, or you can print them as well. So there is a PDF of turn-by-turn directions and an interactive map for each of these routes. Now, when you first go to that mapping system, by clicking on that map picture on the website, you will see a little kind of layer icon in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that and then go down a little way to where it says Boulder Walks program, and click on the Boulder Walks program box, and that will bring up the other 4 routes. There's one in Gun Barrel, there's the 26-mile Walk 360 all the way around the city, and each of these has all that you need to explore, adventure, have a great time, testing, trying out new places and discovering new parts of the city. We hope that you are active and you stay healthy and you have fun all summer long with these routes. Enjoy this virtual guidebook.
I'm Christina Manian, and I'm a registered dietitian working at Boulder Nutrition and Exercise, which is a private practice full of dietitians. And I'm here to talk about procuring healthy food during COVID. The first thing I wanted to talk about was farm stands. So going to the grocery store can be more of for some people, an anxiety-provoking activity. Some people not if you wear your mask. Obviously, a lot of the grocery stores in the area are really good about that. But I've personally found going to farm stands to be really fun and to feel really, really safe. And so that's what I've been doing a lot to get my produce and even some dry goods through the pandemic so far. And so I just wanted to highlight a couple of my favorite farm stands in Boulder County. The first of which is one of my favorites is Black Cat Organic Farm, and that's in Boulder. Another Boulder-based farm that has a great farm stand is Cure Organic Farm. In Longmont, there's Aspen Moon Farm, which is an organic biodynamic farm, and they have also a really great outdoor farm stand. Munson Farms is in Boulder, and they too have a farm stand. Another one in Longmont is Olin Farms, and they actually have a great program where you can virtually, so you can go online, order all of the produce that you'd like to get from the farm stand, and then they actually have a drive-through pickup. So really, really nicely distanced there. Isabel Farm in Lafayette also has a great farm stand. And finally, Zweck's Fresh Organic Vegetables and Flowers in Longmont also has a really great outdoor farm stand. And the beauty of these is that you can do it all outdoors, and you're also supporting your local businesses and also supporting local agriculture, which is really great. I also personally think that the food tastes just a little bit better because it's fresher, which is actually really great because it will last longer at home. So as opposed to consuming produce that has potentially been picked weeks before you got it at the grocery store, this produce is pretty much fresh from the farm and will last a lot longer at home, which is great. I also wanted to touch upon how to make the most of your summer produce. So whether you are growing your own garden or you're getting huge hauls at the farm stand, or even if you have a CSA box and you're finding yourself with an abundance of produce, there are some great ways to kind of maintain that produce without having to throw it away. So some of my favorite options are when tomatoes are really in full bloom. You can make some beautiful salsas and tomato sauces. Of course, you can freeze this produce. So there's lots of ways to freeze your produce. You can freeze them pre-chopped. You can freeze them raw. You can freeze them cooked. And then also prepared, like in a stir fry or something like that. So a lot of options there. Canning is actually a little bit more in depth, but some people really enjoy getting into the process of canning. So if you're kind of looking for a fun project to do with your kids or your family members, canning could be something that's fun to try. And then similarly, drying foods. So if you have a freeze dryer at home, or you can even dry some fruits and vegetables in the oven at a really low temperature. So 200 degrees or less is great for drying. So you can definitely also try that. And those are just a couple of options there. So in conclusion, Another way to really enjoy the outdoors and all that Boulder County has to offer us is to support our local businesses, go out to local farm stands, and enjoy all the delicious produce that we have here. So I hope you enjoy and have fun with creativity in the kitchen.
Right. Hi, my name is Matt Kapanis. I am a teacher here, a yoga teacher in Boulder, Colorado. I teach at the Yoga Pod primarily. I also teach at Colorado Athletic Club. I've been teaching about 13 years, and I want to talk today about de-escalating intense emotions. You probably, I think most of us right now have felt at least some amalgam of intense emotions. I have found regularly when I drive down the streets in Boulder, occasionally I hear an argument or some yelling or some intense interaction between people taking place on the street. So I can tell there's a little bit of an edginess to people. And I want to talk people through a very simple process to mitigating some of that intensity for all the things that sort of ruffle our feathers. Some of us may have things we're worried about. We may find ourselves showing up in jobs or relationships where things get a little bit strained. I had a friend recently inform me that the sort of mask phenomena, though very essential for keeping germs from spreading, has created a kind of reduction of empathy for people, that when we don't see each other's faces, it's easy to sort of feel like we sometimes may be getting attacked, or that it's easy to lay into someone. So here's what I would suggest. If you find yourself feeling something intense and you're saying, maybe you can't sleep, you're getting a little bit revved up. Some of our defaults, unfortunately, aren't the healthiest things. No, we can't just drink every time we feel bad. We can't just go shopping. We don't even have the luxury right now of reaching out to a friend and connecting in person. So in isolation, we have to find a way to kind of handle our emotional tempest with a little bit of grace. And so what I recommend a person do, if you're feeling heavy about something, you basically stop thinking for just a few moments. Now, you may not be able to quit thinking, but feel what the emotion is producing in your body. You go right into what I would call the somatic thread to sort of go, well, where do I feel this? Is it in my belly? Is it in my face? Is it in my chest? Like, what's happening? And just that quick little flipping of the switch to check in on a somatic level, it gives our brains a little bit of a break, and we find a place to kind of stand inside our emotional experience without being so overwhelmed. I would describe an emotion as sort of like a blend of, if you want to think of a blend of red and white yarn. And if I held it back at like 100 yards, you'd look at it and you go, it's pink. There's a pink ball of yarn. But if I brought it in close, you would see that it was actually this blend of red and white. And that's what we do with emotions. We kind of move in and we go, okay, well, what am I feeling? Not it's anger, or it's sadness, or it's grief, or it's depression, or it's anxiety. It's very specific. What am I feeling somatically in my body right now? And when we do that, we kind of step out of the forest of our own thinking. Of course, you can't live outside that because we have to solve our problems. But it gives us a little bit of space where we don't have to be quite so overwhelmed. And it's a practice. I would recommend try it with something small. Maybe you have a conversation with somebody that left you feeling sad. Well, check in. What does sadness feel like in your body? Maybe you did something stupid and you feel a little embarrassed. Check in. What does embarrassment feel like in your body? Just give the story a break. Feel it in your sort of somatic chamber of your skin, and then you can make, I think, a proper, wise reaction that's not as reactive. Of course, responsive is what we want, but not reactive, where we just immediately go fly off the handle. I tend to think that that's when love dies. That's when the goodness of who we are dies, when we feel just assaulted and defended or defensive. That's when people get the worst of us. But if we take a little bit of a a pause, breathe, feel it in our skin, then we can choose our words wisely, we can choose our actions wisely, and we don't have to make a bigger mess of our lives or other people's lives than maybe is already taking place. It's a simple practice, but it is a practice. You can't just be like, hey, I heard it on a talk and now I'm just sort of purged of all my emotional charges. No, you still feel bad about things, and this is part of life, is handling adversity. So handle it with grace. Give your thinking as much of a break as you can, and I think you'll find emotions become considerably less intense for you. And that's it.
Thank you all so much for joining us today, and thank you to our panel of speakers for sharing your time and knowledge with our community. It's very much appreciated. As mentioned earlier, Dr. Amie Meditz has kindly offered to be a part of episode number 4 of Be Well Saturdays, which airs in September. So if you have particular questions you would like to ask Dr. Meditz, feel free to send me an email. My email address is listed below. And now for the opportunity to win that gift basket and dual membership to the Museum of Boulder. Be the first person to send me an email with the correct answer to this question, and you're the winner. So here goes. Why is everyone at risk for getting SARS-CoV-2? Send me your answer, and until next time, stay healthy and be well.